Hello and welcome to another edition of Bombers Blitz on the College Football Mafia channel. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown, and I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody made it through okay. I hope your families are doing well. It's tough when we're jumping from thing to thing to thing. It's easy to lose track of the things that are most important. So I really want to give a shout out to those family and friends, those people that are in the background that are doing whatever they can to help you be successful. In my family, it's pretty tight who those people are. My wife, my kids, my parents, my in-laws, everybody, very, very tight knit, and that's how we keep things going around here. And I want to give them a quick shout out. I want to give a quick shout out to start off the year for, although we did have big freaking Friday last week, there are things that I want to make people don't always watch the Friday shows. They watch the Tuesday shows. I know a ton of people watch them on demand. But for those that weren't here on Friday, again, I want to say Happy New Year. I hope your holidays went well, your Christmas. And I'm just saying this year's going to be even bigger and better than last. So if you want to continue to support us, become a new member. That's easy to do. Little chat box where it says comments right there. Just hit the little dollar sign or dollar bill in the picture next to it. Click in and you can do super chats. You can become new members. And those member videos is really where we put a ton of time and energy and planning and getting those out to you guys. Moen has been doing a bang up job. He's doing like one a week, and they're fantastic. And there's no commitment that it's going to be every week, but we're certainly going to do whatever we can to continue to bring the best college football mafia news and notes, so that we're doing the research for you. We turn and we'll do a show like tonight. I'm going to try to do call-ins. We'll try to do feedback shows. So we hear from you guys. That's really, really important. I don't know if Jose's here yet. If Jose's in the house, Jose, I have your I have your college football mafia flag ready to go. I just haven't been to the post office. So I haven't forgot you, brother. I still have it. I just need to get it in the mail. And that goes for anybody else. If you would like a college football mafia flag, it's about this big. I've had them up before. No, I took that one down, but I've got a bunch extra from my original batch. I'm selling those for $10. If anybody wants one, I'm not making any money off of it. I have to send it in the mail. That costs me money. So $10 if you'd like to give. Certainly let me know on, I believe it is Venmo. My Venmo name is at BOMB3R. That's at BOMB3R. That should be Nathan Brown that pops up. And Venmo me $10 in your address, and I will get one in the mail for you. All right. In the past, by the way, I've sold those for 20. Again, I'm not trying to really make any money on it. Just need to get them out the door. All right. Welcome to all new members. We've had a bunch of new swaths of members that have joined us in the last several months. Thank you so much for your loyalty. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourself. Please let us know. Give us feedback. This is the beginning of the year. We want to, sort of sit down, take stock of where we're at, and listening to you guys about what you guys want to see more of or less. We certainly will do that. And we're a proven commodity when it comes to people watching and then getting what they've asked for. And I got my new Christmas Seattle bumper on with my Seattle hat. Seattle Seahawks going to win the Super Bowl. I'm just telling everybody. Anyway, I'll do a whole show on Seattle in the next week or two. Let's see. So yeah, if you become a new member, make sure you do it every month. I think you can set up for monthly billing, and those member benefits really, really help you to stay in tune with everything that's going on in college football and some inside stuff. We've been known to break some news. I'm working on interviews with a few people. I'm not going to tell any names and notes, but I don't want to bust them. That's why. But they will be coming. And more really hard-hitting interviews with people that know what they're talking about. Bob Thompson. Let's see, who else? I should have written everybody's names down. Bob Thompson, Cody Campbell. And then last but not least, and then I'll get on to the news for the day. At the end of the month, the beginning of February, the first week of February, and I don't think Mark has said anything, but Mark Rogers and I are going to start a brand. We're going to start a show, and we haven't really come up with the title quite yet, but it's going to be a monthly deal. We get together first of every month. Everybody knows when that show is going to be on. I'm not sure if we've decided the first, or I'm not sure we picked the day, but we will set the day, and it'll be repetitive. We'll do it all the time, and it's going to be banger news and interviews. Stuff that I'm hoping we get unique that nobody else does. At the very least, we will be covering everything from the college football mafia family and the voice of college football. That he is the OG of OGs. If I call Greg Flugar, obviously friend of the show, the OG, I would have to say Mark Rogers is the OG of OGs because he's been doing it forever. He's an ESPN anchor, retired, and now he's doing this stuff. So I would have you guys look him up, voice of college football, Mark Rogers, and start watching his show, because between his show and the way he does things and what we do things here, I think we can put something really cool together. So we're going to be doing that 1st of February. Look for those links to go out, and we'll give you guys plenty of notice. But this is sort of, I don't think Mark said anything yet, so I'm gonna mention it. We're gonna build to that at the beginning of February. Is there anything else? My team is still here. We've got everybody still stuck with us through the beginning of the new year. Wild Ute and Moen, obviously partners in crime, guys that help me keep this thing going. Just amazing tacticians, amazing creative minds. And I'm very grateful for both of those men. And then on top of that, you got Sergeant Pickles and Becky Go Huskies and Daniel Gygax and Fergie, the Colorado Buffalo. And there are others. That's another show I need to do. Maybe I'll do that during the Seattle show. I'll just read everybody's names. I'll post everybody's names that have helped the show keep going. That list is into I think it's the low 50s or 60s. It's a pretty crazy number. I think that's it. So what we're going to do is, Greg Flugar's in the house. What is he saying here? Greg, I'm going to get to these right away. Peek around the corner. Greg Flugar says, I'm not looking forward to Gophers versus Hoosiers game next year. May need to plan a tooth canal extraction on that day so I won't feel much pain. Yeah, Greg. Boy, Indiana. So impressive, right? And I love Minnesota. And I'll be perfectly honest. Hey, not everybody can walk into a room and say I'm a Gopher and get away with it. Minnesota Gophers fans can do that, and I have nothing but respect for them. I think Indiana is reloading. There is no doubt about it. And yeah, maybe we'll talk about that a little later tonight. And then another one, BYU football. Sorry, I'll get this later because that's as we're going through news and notes. Okay, let me bring that up. So this show is going to be a lot about the NIL costs that it now takes to put a good team together in college football, in basketball too, for that matter. I mean, in basketball, it's even more extreme, but there's not as many players. And what those valuations are, and then what some of the skyrocketing costs have been to bring in the best recruits. They'll go to the transfer portal, right? We're going to talk about those. I've got several articles we're going to go through, but this is what I want to plant in the back of your head. Before we jump into the news, I'm going to do shout outs really quick, but you guys start thinking about this. And then as I start going through the articles later, I want to sort of prompt you guys to start thinking down the line of the impact of this. And the impact of what I'm going to say is, used to be 4-year full ride scholarships were the thing, right? You got a little bit of spending money, but that's pretty much what you were getting to go play college football out of place. That's how Cal and Stanford were able to compete, because everybody was on relatively the same scale that it was in regular college football. There were those top brands that were paying players. Everybody knows it, but we can't do anything about it, and it's over now anyway. But Stanford and Cal were able to compete because they didn't have to worry about paying NIL to get players to go to their schools because everybody wanted to go and get their education at Stanford and Cal. It's difficult now. It's very difficult. And something I want you guys to think about, and we'll talk about a little bit later in the show, is people now are going year to year. And schools, I don't know, I don't have something to attribute like an article, but I kind of have in the back of my mind what's happening is coaches and administrations are offering 4-year full ride scholarships, but there's really sort of a caveat in there. And that caveat is it's really a 1-year, year-to-year lease type of a thing, renewable. And at the end of this year, next year, and some schools are playing lean and heavy into that 1 year, right? Their transfer portal numbers are absolutely crazy. The number of schools that are losing massive amounts of, and I've got Iowa State as an example tonight, will shock you when you see it in print. And then the other thing is teams want to revamp and get better. So you can make two decisions. You go year to year. They come in. They're basically mercenaries. They help you win however many games they're going to win that year. And then you turn around and they're going to do it next year. And they'll do it the year after that. And they will just keep coming back. And then you will get the Sorsbys, right? Brendan Sorsby transferring from Cincinnati to Texas Tech. Complete mercenary contract. 1 year, $5 million. One player. And we're not talking about, the reason I say one player is that whole schools used to run on $5 million for everything, including basketball. And now we're saying one player, one position, a quarterback. Why did Texas Tech lose last week? They didn't lose because their defense sucked. In fact, their defense was elite. That could have been a 3-3 game if the offense would have carried this water, and it didn't. It didn't show up. And it was bad luck, and everybody knows that. So Texas Tech, what do? Yeah, they got a quarterback coming back. Hammond is going to be back unless he transfers. He's going to be back, and he's going to be in the on deck circle. But Sorsby is going to be the QB starting. You're not going to pay somebody $5 million and not play him, not start him. So that's something, again, I just want the back of the head, back of your mind, just think if these players are now going year to year, one, and that's sort of a wink and a nod type contract, then at the end of the year, the school can go to the player and say, hey, you've got your full ride scholarship. We will pay you. We will get, but unfortunately, you're not going to play. And that's how big corporations get people to quit their jobs, right? They say, well, we'll have you stick around, but after you stick around and keep in your job, we're going to take all your responsibilities away from you. You're basically going to just sit at a chair, and then we're going to crank up the requirements that we need to have you keep your position. And what do? You find another job because nobody wants to be treated like that. And they've gotten rid of you without having to pay you to leave, right? That's what's happening in college football. They're basically saying, going to players, hey, we've got this, I don't know what they're saying in the words themselves, but basically they're telling people, if you want to stick around, you're welcome to, but you're not going to play. Who's going to do that? Every one of these players thinks they're going to go to the NFL, whether they will or not. But that's what everybody thinks they're going to be doing. And so nobody's going to stick around and just be a placeholder. I guess there might be some that try to, but yeah, they can make things uncomfortable if we want to, if they need that spot for somebody coming in. So that's something I want to keep you guys to keep in the back of your mind, is that these are now year-to-year contracts, and these year-to-year contracts basically guarantee you a spot on the roster, and unless they've given a committed amount of money to you specifically, you may or may not play. And they're telling people that up front. Why? Because they want to bring in the kids that are graduating. Some schools have leaned into this strategy. Some schools, Texas Tech has leaned into this strategy. They were like number 1 or number 2 in the transfer portal rankings last year. They have made a tactical decision that, yeah, they are going to grow some of their own players, but really they're from a year-to-year win now mentality. And the way you do that is you go out and you're freelance at the end of every season. I put no moral weight one way or the other against that. If you're a school that wants to do that, good for you. I'm going to give you all kinds of props and say, go for it. I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan and say my school just can't compete because we don't have access to those resources. Because everybody, just get it through your head. This is one of the ways they're going to filter out schools. Again, people are going to eliminate themselves. They might not have to set up a super league. What they may do is raise the level of costs to keep your roster together, retain your players, and if that's $40 million, how long is it that a school's only putting $12 million in it? How long can they continue to compete at that level? Fresno State, not to pick anybody, just out of I didn't think about Fresno. I'm not picking on Fresno, but does Fresno have the money bags behind them to compete? Does the Pac-12? Where does the Pac-12 survive? At some point, there's going to be a make or break, and if they can't get $1 over what they're spending back, the cost of doing and competing at that high level are going to be too expensive. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? So we'll talk about that as we look at these valuations, but start thinking about what your school can do. And what I'd like to hear back from you, this is the question to you guys is, 1, what your school is. 2, are you going to be able to compete? And 3, what do you take from all this? Those are questions for you guys, okay? So I'm giving you guys homework as we're sitting here during the show. Let me really quick, let's do some shout outs, and then I'll jump right into the news, okay? By the way, I put this on backwards here behind me. That's supposed to be reading 1, 2 down. I wasn't paying attention. That is my Seattle Seahawks flag. It will not go down until we win the Super Bowl again. No, I'll take it down at the end of the season, but I think that'll be after the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. So Seahawks up, got my Big 12 up. I got my BYU Cougar up. I'm wearing Seattle Seahawks. So we're rooting, right? College football's over. We are moving on into the playoffs for the NFL. All right. Buckshot Kid, first in the house, member extraordinaire. Good to have you here, Buckshot Kid. Oh, hey, Bomber. It's good to see you. Everybody, by the way, in the comments section, I'm not sure if you can see it, but if next to Buckshot Kid's name here, you see that little sign? That means he's a member. He's a member of the College Football Mafia family, and he pays a monthly due, but then he has access to all our member benefits, and those are member shows, member-only shows, member-only videos, which have inside information we don't share on our normal shows. And then you have the first option in for all the comments. If I'm taking comments and nobody's in there with the super chat, I pick member comments first. Anyway, so that's what that represents. If you want to become that yourself, again, just hit the little dollar bill next to the comments box and you can become a member yourself. Oh, wait, we got some specials in the house already. Evil Badger 72. And Moen, I think Moen's watching. Moen, I don't know who those members are, those new members. Can you do shout outs for me on the comments, please? Anyway, Evil Badger, Ryan Willie, long-standing OG member of the College Football Mafia family, $5 super chat. Thank you, Ryan. Happy New Year to you. Looks like Wisconsin has finally joined the 21st century of college football. Wisconsin will win the Heartland Trophy and Axe back next season. Wisconsin's been down, unfortunately. They're a brand that when Wisconsin's good in college football's better. I'm a big fan of what they're doing there. They didn't fire your coach, so hopefully you guys can get the resources in there to keep that team together, Ryan. But thank you so much, though, and I'm glad you're putting a stake in the ground. You are winning the Heartland Trophy and the Axe next season. Everybody take that. And then here's Moen sitting satellite somewhere outside the show, coming in and giving 5 new memberships. Thank you so much, Moen, for doing the 5 new memberships. I don't have the little window up, so I'm going to flip back over to the live button and see if I can shout out who those new members are. But just so everybody knows, this is what I was talking about. You can gift memberships, and if you do, pay it forward to somebody else, you will get good things to come in your life. I believe in karma. And if you do good things for other people, unselfish, you will get stuff back. This is Moen, who's obviously doing bad things out in the world, trying to insulate himself by doing good things, by passing on new memberships. So thank you so much, Moen. I really, really appreciate seeing you, and I'm glad you're here tonight. Let's see. If I scroll to the end, did Moen shout anybody out here? No, he didn't. Did he just leave? Oh, here we go. No, that's not it. Moen saying, check out my latest members video this Friday. Hey, Moen, can you do the shout outs on the comments for me, please? Hopefully you can hear me. Anyway, so thank you, Moen. Those new memberships, claps, claps, claps for everybody who has become new members. If Moen will tell me your names, I will read those, by the way. All right, so Buckshot Kid, Ryan Willie, Big Lubbock. Oh, Lubbock. First in my heart, Lubbock. First in my heart. I don't even know what to say about what Texas Tech did last week. I'm just not gonna talk about it at all. Conundrum in the house. Good to have you here, Conundrum. I thought the B12 season was over. Big 12 season is over. Did I say something that wasn't? Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Big 12 season is over. There's no doubt about it. Conundrum. Shonsky, BYU football in the house saying, hey guys. Look, Daniel Gygax says, hello everyone. Awesome. Let's see. Yeah, Daniel's got it right here. Football season never ends. That's true. It doesn't. It's 24/7, 365 now. That's why our channel is popular, is because we cover all the dead time, so you don't have to. Love to keep you guys in the loop on everything that's going on. This off season going to be the biggest ever. I'm not promising realignment is going to happen. I'm not promising you there's going to be some disaster that we're going to have to cover, but I am saying I think this is going to be the biggest season in college football, probably very easily college football history, except for maybe the Pac-12 saga, which Greg Flugar broke, by the way. Daniel is a contributor around here, does a weekly little show, short on Sundays. Check him out in the short section on the College Football Mafia page. And right there in the middle of the main page, you'll see headers. Click on the one that says videos, and you'll see Daniel's contributions there. Very, very fun, Daniel. It's good to see you. Let's see here. There's one I missed. Where did it go? Oh, I just missed it. Oh, another one. Here we have another membership. Holy cow. Jimmy Otson in the house. Good to have you here, Jimmy. Thank you so much, Jimmy, for that gifted membership. Another member going to the College Football Mafia family. I appreciate somebody, whoever got that. Let me check here again to see if Moen has joined the chat to tell me who's getting those. All right, Moen's not here. Is there anybody else can do me a favor and put in the comments section everybody's name who got a new membership? Can I ask somebody to do that for me? Lubbock, do that for me, or Conundrum, or Shonsky. Daniel, can somebody do that for me, please? There's 6 names I want to shout out, and I need to get them out. And really what I should probably do, everybody give me a second here. Let me just pull up that so I don't have to worry about it later. No, it didn't work. I do forget on YouTube to open up the page. If you hear any feedback, guys, it's because I'm going to have to click on the channel. It's kind of goofy. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that didn't mess up. I just need to get to this window, pop out chat, and I will bring this over here. Okay. Eventually, I will be able to get those names myself, but if anybody wants to do me a solid and put it in now, that would also be helpful. Okay. Thank you so much, Jimmy. You will be gifted good things in your life. I believe that you pay it forward. That karma stuff, I believe, is real. I think you know that. You've been around here. Thank you so much for being unselfish and giving somebody else a new membership. I really, really appreciate it. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Alan Alpheus. I finally got it, guys. Alan Alphys, Jimmy Otson, thank you so much. Alan, make sure you thank Jimmy in the comment section for receiving that new membership. And then after the show tonight, go to the library and watch all our member videos. They are very, very fun. And you will be the smartest guy at the water cooler tomorrow if they like to talk about college football and news and notes. All right, here's the other 5, and I'm just going to say them right now. Jeff Watson, 68, JV Alabama, Mr. 10-4, FSUGI L11. That's a new member. I hadn't seen you before. Good to have you here. And then Suzanne Bejur, I think is how you say that. Suzanne Bejur. You are all gifted memberships as well from the great Moen After Dark, partner of the College Football Mafia family with me and Wild Ute. Thank you so much, Moen, for your unselfishness. That's really cool. He's giving you guys new memberships. I want to encourage you guys to also give new memberships. If you've received a membership, pay it forward and give one to somebody else, and you will have that karma stuff come back to you. Okay, I think that's where we're going to end that. Let's see, a couple more comments here. Greg had another one right here. Here we go. BYU football, no true idea. I was optimistic last year about Gophers portal, but it turned out to be a disaster, so I have no idea. The portal, that's going to be a good segue. Well, first let me say this, and then it will be a good segue into where I want to start tonight's show at, that last comment from Greg. Mark's Holy Grail saying, good for you and Mark Rogers collabing together, Bomber. Glad you are working together with your team and build more national presence. Next collab should be with a Notre Dame YouTuber. I had Four Horsemen on here with me a few weeks ago. I can get them back on. I love having people from Notre Dame on. Four Horsemen's a great guy. I love having him on the show. Find him on YouTube and on Twitter. Four Horsemen Podcast does good work. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate that comment. And I think, let's see here. Daniel says, Bomber, I'll take a College Football Mafia flag. I know where to send the money. I sent you one. It's not a College Football Mafia flag. If that's what I said, that's not what I meant, Daniel. It's the Big 12 Mafia one I sent you. Is the one I'm getting rid of. I just have a bunch, and they need to empty my closets. I'm spring cleaning, all that fun stuff. Let's see here. Any more new ones? I'm jumping into this, guys. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. Rock and Rant in the house. Rock and Rant and Flow Miami Flow, sorry. They're still in it. Miami Hurricanes still playing. I'm so glad we get to watch more Hurricanes. I love Miami. And their channel, College Football Express, is fantastic. Check them out on YouTube. Just 2 more sleeps till the SEC is out. Yes, Miami, you got to beat Ole Miss. And it will just mean more to me. So, yeah, boy, if you're a Miami fan, you know what? I think the whole world should be a Miami fan this week that isn't an SEC fan, because if that happens, that would have been 3 years in a row no SEC team has made the final. Or is it even more than that? Is it more than 3 years? Might be 4 years. Anyway, no SEC team in the college football playoff final. The world is on its right axis if that happens. And we're just picking on the SEC because they've always had everything. So it's just interesting to see how they will adapt in this new world. Michael Smith, good to have you here, Michael. Stanford graduate QB transfer, won a national championship last night. Yes, Montana State of the FCS playoffs. Fantastic work. They beat, was it North Dakota State? I'm not sure who they played, but they won the national championship on no time on the clock, last minute touchdown, and a made point after touchdown, and they win. So congratulations to all those people that are Montana State fans. I think that was really, really cool. Okay, any others? Rich Austin, good to have you here, Rich. No credit to Oregon. Ducks are clearly the better team, no question about it. No, I didn't say they weren't better, Rich. I don't know why you get so defensive. I'm not talking about Utah. I'm not talking about Utah. I'm not attacking Utah. I don't know why you're attacking Oregon or defending Oregon, but whatever. They don't need any advantages, is what I'm saying. No, I never said they didn't. Oregon didn't play well. That's not what I said at all. What I said is if the offense of Texas Tech had kept up, that game could have been a 10-3, 17-10 game. Because the way Oregon was able to score points was on short fields, turnovers, and that's how they beat. 31-3. It was 31-3, but really it was a two-possession game, even less than that. If Texas Tech had had any offense. So just because I don't say something doesn't mean I'm not giving credit. Just so everybody knows. And right here in the house, lastly, we got, oh, yes, it is. This is my last membership comment, and then I will get to news and notes. Earl Carr was the fourth or fifth first subscriber to our channel 30 months ago. Earl, thank you so much for helping us keep the lights on around here. It's because of you and all the other OGs that we are doing massive work around here. I want to thank you for that. 30 months, guys. I'm just going to give him a clap. There's nothing else to say about that. That's incredible, Earl. And BYU has retained all their starters that didn't graduate so far. Obviously, there's a little time in the transfer portal, but so far BYU's only lost 9 players, and not one of them was a starter. Meaningful snaps from last year. BYU is reloading. They lost a coach. They lost JL. They lost 2. And Gennaro Guilford, that's going to hurt. But this is where Kalani has his opportunity to say, see, this was as much me as it was Jay. A lot of people, I gave Jay massive credit last year because I think the defense is what kept us in it last year. This year, the defense was supported with some offense at BYU. So anyway, rumor has it Martin is coming back. That's LJ Martin. That is the rumor. The Big 12 Player of the Year. Running back had, how many, 1,500 yards? I can't remember. Something like that. Amazing. Downhill, runs through you. If they keep LJ Martin, and we just have to have that Bear Bachmeyer one, Earl, we just need our quarterback. Get us our quarterback. Satawala is staying. I'm telling you, BYU's reloading. So it's great to have you here, Earl. Thank you so much, and thank you for being a member of the College Football Mafia family. Okay, this is where I'm going to start tonight. You guys have been awesome. I appreciate your patience. Half hour of me just sort of getting our year going. That's what this is tonight here on Bombers Blitz. Okay, first thing I want to get to is right here. So this is a comment, and I need to actually browse to it. This one. College Football Kings wrote this down. This is based off of notes that were posted by other people. I'm going to copy the link. He took the time to put those in the comment section, so I'm going to make sure you guys have access to them as we go through. Let's see here. So there's the link you guys can all go to, and you can follow me along as we go around doing stuff. Let's see here. Starting at the top. Again, College Football Kings wrote this down. This is, I would say, something that maybe needs to be addressed. And I don't know how they do it. Without player representation, you can make all kinds of changes and nobody can really say anything. I prefer everybody has a CBA or some sort of an employment contract with these players so you can treat them differently. And then if you do that, then you can put in a salary structure. You could even do salary caps if you wanted to, but you can't do any of that until the players have representation. Anyways, this is kind of what's wrong with the coaching tree movement system. And I don't know how you can restrict it. I don't know. I'm sure somebody would sue. Rocco Becht, these are all Iowa State guys that have left. And most of these were starters. So Matt Campbell, we all know, went from Iowa State to Penn State. took coaches, gutted the coaching tree, and then at the same time took all these players. Rocco Becht is their starting quarterback. Benjamin Brommer, Chase Sowell, Caleb Bacon. You guys can read them here. Carson Hansen, Gabe Burkle, Jamison Patton. These are all guys that basically were the heart and soul of the Iowa State program. And the minute Matt Campbell left, and I believe this isn't even the complete list. I think there are more, actually. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was over 30. But this is kind of what happens when coaches leave. So everybody hear me out here. I've got an idea. Why don't, well, again, we can't do anything until the players have representation. But if the players had some sort of representation, I could imagine a rule that says if your coach gets fired, you can move on. You could do this, and no, that it would just be open door. Whatever that time frame is, 2 weeks or whatever, you can leave if your coach gets fired. But if your coach gets promoted, in other words, goes to another school, you'd assume it was a promotion, but goes to another school, you can't leave for a year. Now, I know what everybody's going to say. Being able to enforce that would be impossible. One of these players, Rocco Becht, would go to court and say, hey, you're restricting my movement based on the fact that my coach left. I want to leave. Right now, I could leave for any other reason. This is not something that we can do. And he's right. In the current rules, there is nothing you could do to stop this. Absolutely nothing. But this is what's wrong with the coaching moves as they are proactive. Now, if he had gotten fired, then yes, I think the players should be able to pop out at any time with no penalty. Because it's not their fault. Well, it's maybe their fault they didn't play well, but it's not their fault the coach got fired, right? So I'm going to ask you, and put your ideas in the comment section. Hopefully tonight, I think I'll have some time to take calls. This is one of the questions I want you guys to think about and then call in on, okay? Is there any way, shape, or form that you guys can imagine we can fix this? And this is one school. This is only one school. Is there anything you guys can imagine that we could do that would fix this? Because, like I said, in my head, I think, oh, sure, yeah, we can, we could do this or we can do this. Sorry, I'm trying to get to a bookmark here. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's possible. So I'd love to talk about that with you. I'm just positing and putting that out there. These are things that I think have real impacts. And obviously, this has decimated an Iowa State program that had been coming up. Was in the Big 12 championship game last year. Well, 2024, right? And they earned their way in there. Well, I mean, there was a 4-way tie, but they got in regardless, and they played. They lost Arizona State, but they earned that spot. They've lost so much. Iowa State, I haven't looked at their schedule, but me and you looked at the schedule last week. Iowa State might only win 5 games. And I'm not picking on Iowa State. I'm literally not picking on Iowa State. I am full of empathy because every school, and I'm just going to show the one that's the Big 12, but every school is going to go through this if they lose their coach, whether it's on a positive hire promotion or a coach gets fired. Either way, every school right now would have to go through this pain if they lost their coach for whatever reason. Because players want to go other places. Do you want to stick in a program? Could you guys imagine the insanity the NFL would be if a coach gets fired? By the way, like 5 coaches have already been fired from the NFL. 4. John Harbaugh got fired at Baltimore. That's crazy. Pete Carroll, who should have stayed retired, but is getting paid $16 million a year to not coach, got fired from Vegas. Anyway, what the NFL, how crazy it would be if your coach gets fired, you could move on. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And part of the reason that doesn't happen is because we have a CBA that has protected rules in it that everybody agreed to. So, yeah, that's one. The next thing I'm going to share is this next tab. And this was done by Wildcat Victory, a newer follow that I've got on Twitter. Let me post that link. And then I'll get to the super chat, you guys, I promise. I just wanted to get these two out there so everybody can see them, be thinking. This is the list of Big 12 portals for each team. Now, I think this is maybe 24 hours old. So maybe it's changed right now. But look at these numbers. Oklahoma State had 60 of their players go into the portal. 6-0. Oklahoma State might win 6 games. They got a good quarterback, the kid from North Texas, but 60 players, and they're going to be the good players, most of them too. Iowa State, 51 is the number. So that other list was about half as many. So 51. I mean, is everybody understanding where this is coming from? And this is not because the players are necessarily upset with the program. They just want to be a place that's not rebuilding. Nobody wants to be at a place where they think they're going to win 4 games. How do you go out and show your talent if your team is always getting punched in the face and you're down all the time? That's not to say Iowa State and Oklahoma State are going to be big losers. I might be wrong. You look at their schedules now, maybe you guys see 8 or 9 games there. I could be wrong. I'll admit that. West Virginia, 41. Now, there's a cutoff that I think we're going to come up with an average. And that's an average that I think we need to do on the College Football Mafia team. Daniel Gygax. This just occurred to me. I'm going to give this to you as a homework assignment. We need to look at the portal entries for the last 4 years, 2021 to 2025, and get the average portal entries for all the schools in the Big 12. Can you do that for me? If you're still watching? Anybody wants a homework assignment, they can do that for me too. But I just didn't want to forget. I'll replay and come back to that. What is the average? So we know where this line is of these schools that they're going to be hit one way or the other, whether it's a negative or a positive. That's a data dip we need to find out. West Virginia, 41. Colorado, who's always been a portal school, 31. Baylor, 27. 26, 24, 23. So you guys kind of see where I'm getting at here. There's about half the conference that's in the 20s or greater. Is that where the average normally is? And then at what point is it an outlier? At what point is it a 41, 51, or 60? That's what we need to find out. I don't have the answers. I'm posing these to you guys. I want your thoughts. I want to talk about these when I open the phone lines, right? Just sort of priming the pump. Everybody be thinking of stuff. Just on the flip side, look down at the schools that have been winning and have continuity and look at their numbers. Arizona State, 16. Texas Tech, 15. Texas Tech, 15. I was wrong. I thought they had a bunch. They've only had 15 go into the portal. That's going to hurt them, by the way. If they don't have more kids leave because they're not going to play, they have more money they want to spend already. At some point, their roster is going to fill up. So that Texas Tech and even Arizona State numbers, they may go up. Then you have Utah and Arizona. Again, we're in the teens, right? Continuity. Arizona, Texas Tech, Arizona State, and Utah, all top brands in the Big 12 for winning this year. Cincinnati, 12, another team. Now, Cincinnati got hit hard. They lost their quarterback, and we'll have to see where Cincinnati goes. But Houston at 10, again, these are all the upper end of the Big 12 conference, TCU and BYU in single digits. So are you guys getting what I'm saying here? After what I was just talking about buying rosters and the roster retention and what that means. I would also probably say if Tech, this will be interesting. If they, in writing, offer a kid a 4-year degree, full ride to go to Texas Tech, and it just wasn't working out, right? It's just not working out. That player doesn't want to leave. They want, because they know they might not get a full ride anywhere else. So it's a contractual thing. And this is where the school's going to have to make decisions. Are you going to go year to year with your deals? Are you going to go 2-year deals, 3-year, 4-year deals, whatever? But something would have to break that contract for there to be a separation. Texas Tech only has 15 guys leaving to the portal. That's because nobody wants to leave. At BYU, nobody wants to leave a program that's, won so many games. Why would you want to leave? So if the programs don't lose people through attrition, are they going to ask them to leave? Are they going to pay them to leave? Just the threat of, oh, you're really not going to play isn't enough to maybe force somebody to quit. So everybody kind of see where I don't know why it's doing this. What is going on here? I've somehow lost my controls. Why is this shrinking? I'm sorry. My controller boxes, there we go. Somehow it started shrinking. So yeah, that's something else. We just it's all related, right? It's all related. Let's get to some super chats, and then I will jump back in. I'm building a story here, right? I'm building a story so I can hear your feedback. Let's see here. Let me scroll back. Earl Carr again, another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Earl, for all you do for me. Earl's a BYU super fan, and I really, really appreciate him and his loyalty. $5 super chat as well. Speaking of players, Sorsby from the Bearcats is going to Texas Tech, not ISU. I misspoke. I apologize, Earl. If I said ISU, I think I was two ideas got in my mouth at the same time. He's going to Texas Tech. I apologize. Yeah, I just misspoke there. Not going to Iowa State. Sorsby's $5 million going to Texas Tech. $5 million in NIL, just saw. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get out. Thank you, Earl, for keeping me on track there, brother. I really appreciate it. And then one more here. Evil Badger, Ryan Willie, said a $5 super chat, says 2025 national champions, University of Wisconsin River Falls. T3 schools don't offer scholarships. I didn't know about that championship, Ryan. Thank you so much for letting me know about it. Let's do a quick shout out for the national champions of Division III, the University of Wisconsin River Falls. Congratulations to you. Ryan Willie's made me aware of the championship, and I want you guys to enjoy it while you can get it. Winning championships is extremely difficult. Winning championships is difficult in Pee Wee football. That's what I used to tell my son all the time, is winning, it doesn't matter what league you win in, winning a championship is hard to do. So, Earl Carr again, another 5 College Football Mafia gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Earl. Boy, thanks for the new year kickoff, brother. I really appreciate you. Earl Carr, again, super fan and somebody that has become family around here as an OG-er. Thank you so much, Earl, for all you've done. Here's 5 more. Justin Lucas in the house. Good to have you here, Justin. Crab cakes and football. Oh my gosh, where have you been? I haven't seen you in a year and a half. Is it the off season? Is that why you're back watching? It's so good to have you here. Make sure you stick around. And in the time you were last here, go and watch our member videos. We've done a good job, Crab Cakes. It's good to see you, though. It's been a minute. Thank you. Jeff Kissy, Cougar Tracks, back in the house. Good to have you here, Cougar Tracks. And Big Lubbock got a new membership back. All you people, please do me a favor. Go into the comment section. Leave a quick note for Earl Carr telling him thank you for giving you a gifted membership, and then consider giving somebody else one. Pay it forward. Karma is real in the world, and you will be benefited if you give somebody else a membership as well. Is there anyone else? No more super chats. Okay, so here I'm building my story. Thank you so much again, Earl. I appreciate it so much. Daniel has one more follow-up on the D3 championship. The The D3 championship was on Sunday night going against the Steelers-Ravens game. It was a split screen night for me. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that would not surprise me at all. I'm glad you're having fun. Everybody enjoy this football as it's winding down. Obviously, this week we've got 2 more games, and then 1 more game next week. So, looks like we lost another player that I didn't know about. We'll talk about that, Shonsky. We'll get to that. Okay, so I've painted a picture. First, we talked about what it is and why it means to get to enter the transfer portal, to leave your school, everything associated with it. This is the number, and of course, this list would be massive if I did anybody else but the Big 12. I just happened to pick the Big 12 because that's the one we're most familiar with. But that same line, it probably exists in the Big 10, the SEC, but that's an interesting data session. We might have to spend some time sorting that out and figuring that out. Maybe that's a homework assignment I'll give to somebody else in the Mafia family. All right, so this is the one that I think everybody is going to want to talk about the most. No, that's not it. All right, I'll go with this one. Copy link. Okay. Here's the next one. Here's our next one as I move over. Okay, this was an article written on the New York Times. I'm going to post the link so you guys can look it up yourself. New York Times. Jay Book has done me a favor and summarized everybody that's on here. These are all the positions. Let's see. No, that's not it. These are all the position costs for transfer portal players. For that matter, NIL numbers. So if you are a player that's a left tackle, there's an average out there now. It's been a few years. This is the average of what people are paying. Now, 2 years ago, these numbers were way lower, right? There's been inflation, but we're starting to hit a cap. I'm feeling it. We're starting to hit a cap. We're starting to get pushback from NIL providers, the money, the big boosters, and the media companies and everybody else that are paying NIL dollars. We're starting to hear a little groan out there. Wow, last year I gave that guy $3 million and the next year he leaves. Well, you should have been told, honestly, by your school that could happen. You should have been told that $3 million buys you a year. Whatever the expectation is. If you're not telling your big boosters and setting proper expectations, you absolutely are not doing yourself a favor because, and this is where these dollar amounts come in, they are going to groan and quit paying. That's where you need a bottomless pit of NIL dollars. That's why what your schools should be doing, and if you're a booster, you need to talk to the people that are running your collectives. What your school should be doing is putting money into a bank account, essentially, something that you can draw on that's going to put in interest and then pay the players over a period of time. You collect the dividend, the player leaves, you've still got a little bit of money left, right? Another thing I think we could add in, so here we're stacking ideas. I think there should be buyouts. I think there should be buyouts. Every school, everybody should have a buyout for a kid to leave. That way the school can recoup some money. It won't be 100% buyout. You're not going to get all your money back, but it should be a percentage of whatever their value is. So let's talk about their values really quick. Again, this source is New York Times. QBs from $1 million to $4 million. Now, these are estimates, but $1 million being the lowest, I think it's pretty accurate. I do. I think 1 million's, and we're going to be talking about top 40 programs right now. Top 40 programs. I'm not telling you how I'm coming up with that 40, but I have the 40 in my head, and it's not the 40 you're probably thinking about. We're talking about schools that are actually paying money to keep their players around. The value that you would give those is how much money do the schools have access to pay players outside the 20.5 million. So if you're a quarterback, $1 million to $4 million. Offensive tackle, that left or right tackle who protects the quarterback's backside, 600,000 to 1.3 million. Running backs, 400 to 900,000. Wide receiver, 500 to $1 million. Again, these are averages. Tight end, 300 to 900. Edge rushers, another big, left tackle, edge rusher on defense, another big number, 500 to 2 million. I think that number is going to continue to climb. By the end of this cycle, it might be up to 2.5 or 3 million. Interior defensive line, 500 to 1.5. Corners. How many corners do you have? You have 2 dedicated corners, and then you've got slots, right? Guys that cover the flankers and all these other positions, the DB4, DB5. Those from 250,000 to 1 million. Safeties is going to continue to climb. Safety is going to get up there pretty quick. You might see safeties right below edge rushers. Certainly if you're at BYU, that's the way it works, because BYU's defense goes from the back forward. And that is the generalizations of values. So think in your head, what is your school? What is your school able to pay, do you think? I haven't done the math. Again, that math's not my strong suit, Daniel. All these, you better be taking notes, Daniel, for all this stuff we want to do, because I need to start giving out homework assignments. Something else we need to figure out is if we go by the averages here, how much would an average defense cost? An average defense cost. How much would an average offense cost? How much does an average safety, what am I trying to say? Third, kickers and punters. Everybody knows what that is. How much are they worth? Field goal kickers are going to start making some money. So, special teams, what I was trying to say. This has to be solved. And I'm not the guy sitting here to tell you the way to solve it is to restrict it. You will do that. You will do that. I'm not going to do that. Now, Utah just got $500 million in a resource fund, and they're going to pay it back in equity and whatever that is, which is going to free up more Utah money. It is. Just like you said, all those improvements and stuff now are going to be paid out of this new private capital fund, private equity fund, whatever it is. And now all the money that went to those can now be paid into NIL funds. So Utah's NIL number is going to go up. What that number is, I'm not going to guess. You would have to listen to Ute. You'd have to listen to Rich Austin. These are numbers guys. They can tell you what they estimate the amount is. I know what BYU's going to be at. No, I'm not going to say it right now. We'll get to the off season, and then I can start sharing some of that information. So these are things that, how do we solve these, right? I'm posing questions to you guys so that you guys can basically come up with the good ideas. I love shows like this because while we're talking about generalities and news, I want to hear from you. This show's more about what you guys think ideas should be, and you guys already know generally what my ideas are. You know, I support NIL funds paying players. You know that I'm all for a CBA or some sort of employment agreement with the players so that you can go in and actually do things like do structured payouts. You could put in some sort of a wage scale. You could try to control these NIL numbers. If the players have a representation, you can negotiate that stuff with them. What do you do if you want to get rid of a player, but they don't want to leave? These are all things that can be put in a CBA. So that's where I'm at on the CBA front. And then the idea that I started the show with, and we're an hour in, the idea I started the show with was everybody needs to think, what is your school doing right now to compete? And what do they do with players that aren't going to see the field pretty much anymore? Did you give them a 4-year contract, a 4-year full ride, or did you give them a 2-year or a 1-year? The 4-year full rides are pretty much going to disappear, I think. Could be wrong. They could be here forever still. I think you're going to see shorter terms and terms that have some, not fines, but buyouts associated with them and some other things. We're going to start seeing that stuff. But again, everybody, we're not going to see it unless we come up with a CBA. Quickly get to this. Brendan Sorsby. This is the Sorsby note. Let me get the link. Breaking news. I think this happened yesterday. I just bookmarked it so everybody would have it. Sorsby, the guy who I thought might be in the NFL this offseason, is now decided to stay in, and he's going to get paid roughly $5 million. Who's the top player? Pete Thamel reported. Roughly $5 million to be the quarterback at Texas Tech. $5 million. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, it is what it is, right? I guess there's nothing really to say, to be perfectly honest. One last thing. I need to do a bump. Our show tomorrow night. Yes, we have our big freaking Friday show, but it's tomorrow night, you guys. Tomorrow night. Give me 1 second. Taking calls right now. Okay, let's put that. Okay, I'll put the banner so everybody can start tuning up if you want to call in. Here is the phone number. I'm going to post it right there. I haven't turned them on yet. I'll get to it in a second. I need to get to this bracket breakdown. But tomorrow we will be talking about the CFP and the Final Four. And for some reason, my frames have gotten all screwed up. I apologize, guys. I hope you can see them here. First and second round is done. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the semifinals. That is Oregon playing Indiana, which is a rematch. Indiana thumped Oregon, but this isn't the same Oregon team. So we'll have to see how that game goes. I think that's going to be a really good one. And then Ole Miss and Miami. Everybody knows I'm a Miami fan. I have nothing against Ole Miss. They're just an SEC school, which comes with its own indictment. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how these games play out. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, big freaking Friday on Wednesday. And yeah, that should be a lot of fun. So I want to recommend everybody do that and be with us here tomorrow night. It should be a lot of fun. Okay, I am going to now go to calls. I will talk about there's another article I was going to go through, but I want to get to you guys' calls. I haven't done calls in a couple of weeks. I want to get to it. So I'm inviting everybody. You guys are welcome to join. Anybody, I look in the comment section. If you guys are coming in to just be crazy and you don't want to participate, you'll probably not be around. I'll drop you. There are rules to this stuff, but I will hear you out. And I really want to explore some of these questions I've asked of you. So let me do a quick. No, I won't do another banner. I'll just leave it like that. You can see our phone number. I thought I had clicked the banner with the phone number. I did. Oh, it has that other in it. Where are we at here? There it is. Let's just do this. Call now, 801-899-6203, and let's talk, okay? Let's talk and let's see kind of what's on you guys' minds. I've given you guys some questions to think about. Give me your answers. So let me turn the phone on and we will go. Okay. I also need to tell my daughter and son-in-law, son really, Christian, they gave me a new microphone that is about this big, and I will be setting that up soon. Anyway. Caden the Diesel Freak, how are we doing tonight? Doing well. If you guys can't hear him, let me know in the comments, okay? I'm doing okay. Happy New Year. Okay. Okay.
Didn't give an excuse. Hey, I'm rooting for y'all to win all the way since we couldn't get the job done. Let me get that out of the way.
Yeah, sure. Hang on a second. Can you guys hear now? I'm looking in the comment section trying to understand if you can hear him. I just turned him on. Hang on a second. You guys can't hear him? Still? Good now. Okay. All right. Keep going, Caden. Sorry.
But let me get to the let me get to the business at hand here, Nate.
Okay.
As far as like the NIL and transfer portal, I get like that's a whole crazy subject right now in college football, and I get it. You know, a lot of people are transferring in and out of schools, and the NIL money is really driving, the kids to different schools and whatnot. I mean, that's good on their part, but
Okay.
my problem is that, I mean, it's a lot of money that's being stacked in, let alone oh God, it's just it's a headache to me, and I
Okay.
don't mean it to say out of like it's bad. It's just when you hear about people transferring out, and I mean I get it, but it hurts my brain. But I didn't come to complain about about NIL transfer.
Okay.
But other than that, what was it? There was something I was meaning to talk to you about, Nate.
Okay.
So even with like the college football playoffs now,
Yeah.
I have Miami winning all the way,
Okay.
and that's
Very good.
no question. Miami was the better team against Ohio State. They played Texas A&M like they should have, and honestly, Miami's got the atmosphere, and they've got the crowd behind them. And as far as the Oregon Oregon Indiana game, if Oregon pulls the upset and beats Indiana, I wouldn't be surprised. But if Kurt Signetti starts doing some of his expressions on the sideline, yeah, I'm praying that Miami beats them.
Yeah, he does have a patented stare. Several different emotes are attached to it. And yeah, he's something else. But boy, last 2 years, Indiana has been smoking. So it'll be interesting to see that game. You have Miami winning the whole thing, though, huh?
I'm putting Miami down because, I mean, honestly, I said it before. Miami was going to make the playoffs originally.
Okay.
In week 3, the first time I called in this season, Nate, if
Okay.
you recall.
Sure.
I picked Miami. So I feel pretty good about Miami so far. But as far as the SEC, I'm a little disappointed because I literally was praying that Georgia went into the playoffs and absolutely stomped Ole Miss out again. But oh no, that fuel in Ole Miss after Lane Kiffin left, yeah, I knew that was game over for them. Especially for Georgia. But
Okay.
other than that, I mean, I'm waiting to see who comes out on top, but I'm praying it's Miami. So Rock and Rant, hear me out, buddy. I'm praying that your Canes can win the whole thing because literally it's been overdue for Miami to get a national championship.
All right.
Overdue.
Caden, I'm going to let you go. I'm trying to get through a few calls tonight, but thank you so much for all that you do for me. I really appreciate it. It's great to talk to you.
And Nathan, you know where to catch me Sunday afternoons, Caden the Diesel Freak, the Sunday show. You know where to find me. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at Caden the Diesel Freak. And as always, go Bucks. Our honor to defend till we fight to the end for Ohio. Later, Nate.
Thank you very much, Caden. It's good to talk to you. Caden,
bye.
Look for him on Twitter at Caden the Diesel Freak. Very, very fun. Caden, if you're in the comments, go ahead and put your link in the post your link in the to your Twitter page in the comment section. I have no problem if you do that. Feel free. Okay, so the number is 801-899-6203. 801-899-6203. If you are watching on Twitter, and I'm going to do this once and do it well. If you're watching on Twitter and you want to participate in the show, feel free to leave a comment. I do receive live comments from Twitter. But more, I would love for you to jump over on YouTube or even open up a separate page for YouTube and hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to new subscribers, trying to get to 6,000. We're pushing for it. Well, I hope we can get there, but we can't do it if you guys on Twitter don't jump over on YouTube for me. So jump over, go to College Football Mafia. We're the only thing to pop up, and hit that subscribe button. And while you're there, consider becoming a member of the College Football Mafia family. 801-899-6203. I gave you guys a bunch of ideas you could call in on, or if you have a different something you want to talk about, I'm here for it. Doesn't have to be just those things I asked you guys and gave you homework about tonight. It could be about anything. So if you want to call up and talk about college football, I'd love to talk to you. In the meantime, while I wait for people to call in, I'm going to get to some more comments that we've got right here. Mark's Holy Grail did a little comment thread here, so I'm just going to run through it. Bomber, there is a radical fix, but not going to be enforceable without, he's talking about a fix to all the things that we were talking about for the transfers and for the NIL. And let's just get through these. Not enforceable without Congress passing a limited exemption to allow NCAA to make some of its own rules. Okay, I don't necessarily agree with that, but that is one way to do that. It's not the only way. Part 2, new transfer portal date and signing period moved up from December 1 to 15th after regular season and first CFP game. And more importantly, new head coaching hires cannot be until January 2nd. Okay, I'm glad you brought this one up. I think all that needs to move. The national letter of intent, I don't know if it's been moved, but I think that date should change. I also think that the transfer portal date should not start until after the playoffs are done. Like the day after the playoffs end. That would be my personal thought, but Mark's Holy Grail thinks this is the way to go. So we'll keep going here. Let me get that off. Next one. This would prevent everything that happened this last year with Iowa State, Auburn, and others. I don't see 3 on here. Mark's Holy Grail, you went from part 2 to part 4. So I'm going to leave that marked on my side. I'm going to go to some other comments. If you want to post part 3 again, I'm happy to read it. But right now, I do not see your part 3 comment. So feel free to put that in, and I will bring it up. Meanwhile, as we're waiting to hear that from Mark's Holy Grail, College Football Express, that would be Miami Flow and Rock and Rant at College Football Express on Twitter and YouTube. Moving the transfer portal date up is a bad, terrible idea. Yeah, transfer portal needs to be backwards, in my opinion, not forwards. It was already forward. It got moved back to January 2nd or whatever. I think it needs to keep going. And then the other thing is I want to change the date to the actual transfer portal. Let's see. What am I trying to say? National letter intent. Oh. I actually think maybe even moving the transfer portal back to April is a good idea too. That's something that could be researched, but anything's better than the window we've got right now. I'll just say that out. Stephen Vitt says February window for the transfer portal might work better. Anything's better, in my opinion, than the 17th or whatever it is. Let's see. More comments. I don't know if you're watching right now, Mark's Holy Grail. I need a part 3 so I can transfer the transition to part 4 because I don't understand what you were saying. You lost me at part 2. Let's see here. Devil Frog in the house. OG College Football Mafia member. Good to have you here, Devil Frog. Thank you so much, brother. Happy New Year to you. TCU got an O-lineman from OSU. Which OSU? Oklahoma State or Ohio State? I'm going to guess you mean Oklahoma State, but I'm not sure. Which makes us even for losing House last season. So I'm going to say that's going to be Oklahoma State. They're trading portal people, I guess is kind of what he's saying there. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Get to some more comments. Kaio. I never say this. Where Moen? Where are you? I don't know how to say this. Kaio 187. I hope some of the schools are making sure to put their money in stock to save it for future prospects. Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Shonsky, how hard to buy out 1-year deals? I don't think you do buy out 1-year deals. I think you buy out 3, 4, and 5, 2, 3, and 4-year buyouts. It just isn't working. Kid wants to move on. They go to another school, and if it's a school that's higher than your current support level, there's some sort of a transfer fee or something, nominal transfer fee. But yeah, 4-year, 3-year, 2-year, 1-year deals though, you don't need to buy out because the year's over and you move on the next year. C. John, good to see you here, C. John. Thanks so much for being here tonight. The portal giveth and the portal taketh away. Happy New Year, College Football Mafia. Thank you, C. John. It's great to see you. I really appreciate it. You're fantastic. And thanks for being a supporter around here. I really appreciate you. Devil Frog says, Indiana overpaid for Hoover. We would have traded those 30-plus turnovers in 2.5 years for a ham sandwich, suckers. Yeah, I think Hoover was overrated. I'll be perfectly honest. I'm not trying to diss TCU. I just think he had sort of one breakout year, and then he had another year and a half, a little above average. I don't think that's enough to invest $30 million, $10 million. I mean, what are the numbers for him to move on? I don't know what the dollar amount is for Hoover to move from one school to the next, but whatever it is, I think Indiana overpaid. We'll have to see what it is. Big Lovick, the QB data needs to be adjusted to 5 million. Well, that number was like a moving average. It'll continue to go up, but the 5 million is top end. Usually, you do an average. You take out the top 2%, you remove the top bottom percent, and then you average everything in the middle. Can't remember what that rule is, but that's certainly near the top of anything is 5 million for sure. This is what I was mentioning before. BYU football. Shonsky says, with BYU hitting the BYU makes Smith Snowden.
Call from
Mark.
Mark, is this Mark's Holy Grail?
Yes, it is, Ned. I figured rather than text you, I'd try to talk to you, but I'll try to make it quick. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for calling in. Go ahead. I'll give you the time to explain everything you were talking about.
All right. So you posed the question earlier. I got cut up for like 5 minutes, but you said what would be some ideas, right, of how to prevent all the players from following their head coaches, right?
Right.
Like what's happened at Iowa State, what's happening at Auburn from Florida, everything else.
Right.
So
right.
The reason I put it the way I did is you have to have the transfer portal closed before they're hired. And then that's why I told you at the beginning, it's a radical fix. So my idea, obviously, and that's why I was saying that there would have to be some antitrust exemption, because there'd have to be something in it that the NCAA would say, Lane Kiffin, if you're gone, all you guys that are leaving, or you're fired, whatever, you can't be hired until, let's just say it's January, whatever date you want to make it, right? And the transfer portal has to be before they leave. So all the contracts would be signed and they couldn't go. And remember, most of the people have general managers now, right?
Yeah.
So when people are signing contracts, they're usually through December 31st, the first 2 weeks of January, whatever it is, right?
Right.
You have to get these kids to go into the transfer portal and then basically go out there. And then the reason I pick December 1 through 15, everybody except the playoff people are done. Obviously, you have bowls coming up. But most of those kids know when the regular season's done, whether they're going to stay with their team or not. And then when they go in, some of the people that play in bowls, they can go in the transfer portal. They can still sign and do everything else. But right now they can't sign until after the bowl games and everything else, right?
Right.
So again, radical idea, but what I wanted to let you know, the rationalization is you have a problem that even the NCAA can't figure out. How can you not have them follow their coaches? So I'm just telling you the transfer portal has to move up. And then the other thing is, which I think most of us think about, but no one's really pushing, college football is supposed to be student athletes. And
Yeah.
what's happening is they're trying to get them in. The spring semester starts January 2nd, January 10th. They're having these guys in the transfer portal while school is starting for a bunch of people. They should already be signed before the semester starts. And then the real radical idea is, how about they go to class and they have to be eligible? You know that 0 people are ineligible for the bowl games and the playoffs right now because they're not checking to see if they're going to class.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I will sum it up because I listen to you a lot. You guys do great. I don't want to be on too long. So my points for this:
You're okay.
if we really don't want head coaches to take their players with them, then they can't be hired before the transfer portal, whatever date you have. So fire them whenever you want, and then you say, hey, you guys got to get it, and everybody's got to go. And believe me, you won't fire your head coach if you're in your recruiting and you're doing it right. If you want to keep your players, unless you have a good GM, but you know what I mean? If you have a good GM, maybe he'll get the people signed, and most of them are signing for money now anyway.
Yeah.
But if you don't want them to follow them, they can't be hired until after the period. And then the reason I moved it up versus everybody else in the world is because I'm saying the only reason, and there's a lot of momentum to go later, is because they're trying to get rid of the spring practices and the spring stuff. But if they're not, Nate, if they're not going to get rid of that, those kids need to be enrolled in school before the semesters, the spring quarters. So that's why the transfer portal is where it's at now, is because they're trying to make it to the university. So I'll get off, but that was my idea just for your solution.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's the best in the world, but if you don't want players to follow coaches, the coaches shouldn't be signed until the transfer portal's over.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to tell you. All right.
Hey, well, thank you so much. I'm not sure where your third section went. It like disappeared.
No, it was there. There were people in between. You know how you post?
Okay.
So I posted it again for you, but
okay.
But
I marked it. Yeah, I marked it. I'll look at it after the show's over.
It's hard. But anyway, all I was trying to tell you for your people, just because you're a great thing to throw ideas out there.
Sure.
Again, a lot of people say move the transfer portal backwards, but they're not paying attention to school.
Yeah.
These guys should be signed before school starts in the spring, and that's why they do it. That's why they have the early signing period. When you're talking about the early signing period, don't forget the reason you have to have it is so those kids can go to school for these selfish coaches and programs, because they're not even letting them go to school and go to graduation. They got to go to classes, right, in the spring semester in order to be eligible to practice. So you have to have an early signing period in order for them to go in the spring. Does that make sense to you?
Okay. Yeah, I understand.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Thank
Great
you so
show.
much.
I'll keep listening.
I appreciate you, Mark. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye. He is Mark's Holy Grail. Has become a super contributor to the College Football Mafia family. I appreciate you, Mark. Thank you so much. You need to get that membership back so you can look at some of the new videos that we put out for members only. You'd really like them. All right. Let's see here. I've got a few more comments marked. If you want to join and talk about any of the things I brought up tonight or your own idea, I'm here for you. And we can do Therapy Tuesday if you want to call in. I'll stick around for a while longer for you. Here's a couple from MGC Sooner. MGC Sooner, thank you so much for being on the show. It's good to have you here. I appreciate you listening. Large percent of transfers in portal are pushed out, 35 to 45%. I talked about this earlier, Sooner. Just so you know, you came in a little bit late, and he's saying P2 and some P4 other schools are doing that. Yeah, I did talk about this earlier. So some schools are doing, you're not going to play, and so you take yourself out. Other schools are saying, well, I don't have a 4-year contract with you for your, I maybe only signed a 2-year deal. If you're not going to play, here, I'm giving you your opportunity to leave. Unless you just want to sit around. But I agree with you that schools are essentially going to players at the end. This is how it was explained to me by a BYU staffer. I'm not going to say a name. BYU staffer. I was talking to him about this, and I said, so what is and I didn't get a percentage from him, 35 to 45%, as MGC Schooner says. That might be right, average. I don't know. Didn't sound like it was that high at BYU, but I'm speaking for BYU because that's the one I track the most. If you've been tracking your school, Daniel, you know what your school details are. Rich, if you know what Utah's are, call in and we'll talk about those. But for BYU, initially there were 7 players that immediately hit the transfer portal. Not one of them was a regular starter. Okay. Not one of them was a regular starter. And I think what happened there is Kalani and the staff went to him and said, we're going to have this turnover. You're probably not going to get a chance to play. We've got new players coming in. Now, BYU is really weird because they also have this 6-year window for players because some of them go on church LDS missions, go out and proselyte for 2 years, something like that. And to do that, BYU manages a 6-year turn, not a 4-year turn, or 3-year probably at Ohio State. So each school manages their stuff differently. If I refer back to what I showed you on the percentages of schools that have high transfers out, Iowa State has a bunch of transfers out, but they all left to go to another school. They didn't hit the transfer portal just to do the transfer portal. Oklahoma State had a massive number. It's not because necessarily the school kicked them out. They want to leave and go to a program where they'll win. But that percentage of players that is told essentially, we're ready to move on, you probably should too, they're the ones that are going to hit the transfer portal immediately. This is what he told me. He told me that the transfer portal, the way it's set up, is schools will go and at the end of seasons do a wrap up and every player's interviewed. And up to that point through the season, staff will be evaluating those players, those positions, and who they have coming in that's a commit from high school. And they will say, we're replacing 4 of this position. And right now, you're number 5. So if you want to go opportunity to go play, we're basically letting you know your position is being phased out. The question he wouldn't answer, and I did ask, is what are the deals, the scholarship deals that these players are being given? I find it hard to believe they're 4-year deals anymore. I haven't been able to confirm how many they are, but if I was a BYU booster and I had any say in it, I would say probably 2 to 3 years. If you leave in that time period, there's no penalty, nothing, right? You just take off, it's all good. If you want to leave outside that time period, then, maybe there's a fee you pay, a transfer fee or something like that. But the players know they're not going to be playing. And if you're in college football, 95% of college football players have it in the back of their head. They can earn their way onto an NFL roster. All of them have the dream, as they should. If you're a basketball player, have the dream playing the NBA. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're told you're not getting any playing time next year, you're going to want to leave on your own. So you're laying people off without laying people off. You don't have to be the bad guy. Players will do the transfer, and that's what it is. So that number that initially, to wrap it up, the number that you see that is initially announced the day the transfer portal opens, that's usually the percentage of players that have been told they're pretty much not going to be playing the next year. They go somewhere else to play. And maybe they get better and BYU brings them back. They've done that several times. Maybe we'll do it again this offseason. A couple of players they're looking at that were at BYU 2-3 years ago, but they're playing much better. And BYU's like, we didn't forget about you. You're a BYU guy. If you were here 1 year, you're here for life, brother. We will work with you. That's what Kalani's built in culture. That's a whole nother show, by the way, is culture. What it takes to keep your program together. BYU with 9 in the transfer portal after they lost their defensive coordinator and their defensive backs coaches is an amazing number. And the window's not over. Probably be some more movement, but that number is extremely low compared. So if your school has good culture, they're going to keep those players home. Stephen Vitt, good to see you, Stephen. Getting paid to be the fifth string running back helps that guy's career? No, it doesn't, Stephen. It doesn't. If you're fifth string and you're not getting now, your running back room might be 5 deep, Stephen. It's very possible there's 5 running backs on the roster. That's possible. And if that's the case, they'll go to you and say you're number 5. More than likely, though, what's going to happen is they're going to go to you and say you're number 6. And the only kids that are going to stick around are the kids that are, you're being you're being sarcastic. Here I am playing it straight, and Stephen set me up with a sarcastic message. I appreciate you, Stephen. Call in right now, 801-899-6203, and I've got 25 minutes. I will listen to you. Tell me what you guys are thinking about this. This whole show is based on your comments and feedback. I'm reading comments in the comment section, but more than that, I'd really, really, really love to hear what you guys are thinking when it comes to some of the ideas I salted with you. Transfer portal, amounts of money being paid, even the playoff we can talk about. Let's see here. MGC Sooner, another comment. Transfer portal and LOI need to line up with academic calendars. Letters of intent. I think they're called NLIs, National Letters of Intent is what it is. MGC Sooners. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what if it was me, the transfer portal would be in the spring.
Call from
Daniel.
Daniel V. Gygax. What's up, brother?
Okay. Let's talk the calendar to begin with whenever we're talking about the portal and the playoffs.
Okay.
College football has to seriously think about making the season start week 0, that weekend before Labor Day.
The last weekend in August.
Yeah. And then whenever you're looking at the CFP calendar, what they need to do is you've got your conference championship game on that, usually the first Saturday in December. And I know they want to keep the bowl tie-ins. I know they want to keep all this other stuff on.
So you're agreeing with Mark then? You think it should roll back to the first and second week in December?
That they could still have those conference championship games the first weekend in December, but what they need to do is that next week is first round. That week after that is second round of the playoffs on those Saturdays.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. You were talking about the playoff games and getting into the playoffs. I thought you were talking about the transfer portal, Daniel. I just want to make sure I understand.
I'm going to get to the transfer portal on this.
Okay, go ahead.
At the end. So what you could do is if you map it out like that, and I did a short on it 2 weeks ago, what you could do is that Monday after New Year's, that's your CFP championship game, because you had D3 and you had FCS last night.
Yes.
So you can tie it up then, and then you can open the portal up Tuesday. So it'll make things a lot smoother. You won't have as many opt-outs. You'll go ahead and you can start the portal then.
Can I pose a question to you? Why is that better than if you do it at the end of the academic calendar, April, May, right before we go into summer break? Why is that a better window? Why isn't that a better window, I guess?
Well, some colleges, if you're on a quarter system, like I know this because my daughters go to UCs, went to Santa Barbara, went to Davis, they don't end until mid-June.
Okay. At BYU ends at the end of April. So that's why I'm asking.
So if you're a school on the quarter system, you're not out of the school until mid-June.
But you guys start the day after. You guys start though right after New Year's though, right?
They start, like my daughter started Monday.
Yeah, so I mean so that doesn't make that. So you're still 2 weeks, no matter what, you're still into the academic calendar.
But even then, you can let's just say that the only teams that it would affect are the teams that are in the championship. You have all those teams, they're already doing bowls, they're already knocked out.
Okay.
And guess what? You already know, and let's get right down to it. They already know where they're going.
Yes, usually, unless we're talking about the kids that are saying they're losing their position.
Yes, but even then, if you're a bigger name going into the portal, you already know where you're going. Even guys that are losing their spot, let's say that they're losing a spot at, let's say, BYU, they're still going to be able to find something. Granted, it'll probably be like an FCS or a D2, but they can still find something.
Maybe.
Yeah, but a lot of it is that the fact that the CFP goes on for so long that it makes the calendar messy.
Yeah, I look, I'm with you. Well, and you know this because we talked about this on the show. And the CFP, week 0 being last weekend in August.
Yeah.
Not counting Labor Day weekend, which would be the next Saturday.
Yes.
But that week 0, which used to be special invitations, kickoff classics, and these type of things, and only certain teams got those. What we're talking about is rolling everybody back to week 0, and then moving forward, everybody gets 2 buys. You get through the championship games at the end of December. What do you do with the playoff or the conference championships?
They will still be there. You would have them either
extra game, and then the next week they have to play.
Yeah, like you could still have it that first weekend in December, and still, if you don't have that such a long layoff, you could still get it every weekend of playoff games. Or if you move it back 1 week, you can move the whole schedule back, and Thanksgiving weekend, you can do your conference championship games.
Yeah, I think that's going to be rough because that's the last weekend that the NFL, they're already screwing with the calendar. I get what you're saying. That's rivalry week traditionally, and that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for an Auburn, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan guy to stomach.
Yes. Now, but like I said, I mean, but we're in a new world anyway.
That's true.
So,
I mean, it's true. Yeah.
They got to adapt. So, okay. Thanks, Nate.
Daniel, wait. Did you take notes for all those good ideas I came up with?
Yeah, you wanted me to do all the average of the portal for the past 5 years. I've got that written down right now. The portal report has a good number on it. I'm going to have to dig through that and figure out where these numbers for. I'm going to just do Big 12 because I'm not going to do.
That's fine. Yeah, no, I'm just looking for averages.
30 some teams. Yeah, just Big 12 average.
Yeah.
Portal report has some good numbers. I started digging through that, and it's going to probably take me a couple of days to get it to you.
Okay, yeah, there's no rush. I just didn't want to, since I didn't write them down, I just didn't want to lose track of those. There was some good ideas in there that I think we can do data dips
that
on.
was the big one that you wanted me to work on, was that one.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Daniel. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year. All right.
Okay, we'll see you later. All right, bye-bye. He is Daniel Gygax. Has become a key cog around here. Key cog to what we do at the College Football Mafia, and I am so grateful that he's here to help us. Thank you so much, Daniel, and thanks for covering for me. I'm going to buzz through some more comments. If you want to call, we've got about 20 minutes. I'll actually do this. If I will go overtime with calls, if you guys keep calling. Otherwise, if I'm just working through comments, or I'll stick around for super chats and new members as well. I'll go as long as you guys are engaged. The minute I start having to make work, we'll probably pop the pin. So I'm going to tell you right now already, I'll go another 18 minutes, and then we'll sort of reassess where we are there. So call in now, 801-899-6203. Okay, let me buzz through some new comments, new people in the house. Michael's been here for a bit. I appreciate him, though. April is not better because it gives agents and other schools a chance to spy on spring practices. The agents come in before the portal opens with large bags and offers immediate starting positions. Michael, while on its face that is true, I think we eliminate the spring games. Like Texas has already done that. Auburn's already done it. I think Auburn did it. Anyway, eliminate spring games. Maybe it was Ole Miss. And those practices, you can close those suckers. Now, it doesn't mean that people won't have the ability to get in there and be, James Bond and spy. But if you don't have a spring game, there's really no words to go on. Put it this way. Put it a different way, Michael. What is the alternative? Do you like the first, second, third, or third, fourth weeks in January? Do you like that? Do you like this idea of you doing it earlier in December? Nothing is perfect. That's something everybody needs to get in their heads, is any idea we come up with, if it was perfect, it would have already been done before. So right now, nothing is perfect. So we're just trying to make the best out of bad situations, and this is one of them. I'm not saying my idea was going to win, by the way. I just said that's the idea I'm leaning towards. So it's great to see you, though, Michael. Thank you so much. Bulls fan, where have you been? Yeah, you disappeared on me after USF was eliminated, but good to see you, by the way. USF Bulls, that's what that logo is. The University of Southern Florida Bulls. Bulls fan has become a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. Breaking in a shocker, Washington's starting QB is now in the portal with a do not contact tag. So I guess that means a school, LSU, must have thrown a large amount of money at him. So this is where everybody might think their rosters are set. But unless you've had players go in, take some time, talk to the university and the coaching teams, and they've settled, this is what's going to happen. The Washington starting quarterback, I can't remember his name. If Pickles or Becky's online, they could post it in the comment section. Regardless, he was really good, dual threat. He could run and throw, and he seemed to be really good with some touch passes. Helped Washington win 9 games, eight or 9 games this year in the Big Ten, which is difficult. And yeah, LSU's desperate for a QB. They keep striking out. The guy from Ole Miss was supposed to go along with Lane Kiffin. He said no. Nobody wants to be with Lane Kiffin, by the way. Has everybody noticed that? They lost out on Sorsby, who went to Texas Tech. Several QBs have been in. The Musmaker from University of North Texas decided to go to Oklahoma State in a rebuilding project. That was an interesting one. So yeah, we'll have to see if he pops up at LSU, but it's quite possible. I'm not dogging on anybody who still thinks that the idea of tampering is still alive today in college. It's not. I think tampering has disappeared as a term that will be used any longer in college sports. Tampering no longer exists because of social media, access to information and data, and the fact that you can have third-party family, cousins, sisters, cousins, wife's boyfriend could be doing your contacting for you. That's not tampering because you're not talking about to the player or a player rep. You're talking to a friend of a player's rep. It's impossible to enforce tampering anymore. So might as well get it out of your lexicon. Some schools who are hoping to get their players back, players have given up on it, and there's a reason. Is because it really is not alive in college football anymore. 801-899-6203. It would not surprise me if he pops up there at LSU. Michael Smith again. In other words, poaching spring rosters, therefore no portal during spring or after. I got you, Michael. I understand what you're saying. I got you. Kalani, good to have you here. This is Kay Kalani. I call it Kalani, I think is right. Kalani, good to see you. It's been a minute. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Rivalry week isn't moving off of Thanksgiving weekend. All those donors give and expect to see a home game against their school's rival in the last regular season of their team, a regular game of their team season, whatever. I know what Daniel's saying. It makes sense. I just don't think rivalry week isn't going to be part of the regular season. That would really shock me. So I agree with you, Kalani. I agree with you. Let's see here. Call in now, 801-899-6203. And then this is the one I wanted to get to. I saw it pop up and I was so grateful. He is Clint Moses, the Oregon State Beavers. Going to see how they do in the Pac-12 this next year. It should be interesting. It's good to see you, though, Clint. Seahawks is what he's saying there, if you don't know. Yes, Seattle Seahawks right here. Seattle Seahawks behind me. And I'm not going to take my flag down until Seattle's eliminated from the playoffs. And that's not going to happen until they've won the Super Bowl. So just get used to it for a few weeks here, everybody. I'm asking you to be patient. But thank you so much. Bomber, much love. But how the heck did the Beavers score 7 versus Oregon, but Tech could not? I don't know. There needs to be an investigation as to what happened with I just don't know what happened with Tech's offense against Oregon. But Oregon earned that win. There's no doubt about it. Oregon earned that win. I'm not knocking them at all. I just think the game could have been different if even Texas Tech put up a nominal amount of offense. MG Sooner says, dump the conference championship games, do CFP playing games. That's kind of where I'm at, MGC Sooner. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Dump the conference championship games, do college football playing games. I think that's where we should be. I think conference champions and maybe runner-ups should be AQs into the CFP. I hope we go to 16 teams. I eventually hope we get to 24, but I hope we get to 16 teams and each power conference gets 2 teams in, and that's 8. And then you give 2 more to the G6, and then the rest are AQs. That would be, I think, the most representative, certainly. If you do 4 for the A4, or 8, yeah, for the A4, they each get 2, and you go 1 for the G6, that would leave 5 for the rest, including Notre Dame. So something like that. But playing games essentially have the last week in the championship season. Instead, those teams that qualify are already in, and then you have playing games 3, 6, 2. What was that? 2, 5, 3, 4, right? 2, 5, 3, 4. Anyway, yeah, that's a great idea. Also, conferences are too big for them to mean much. Yeah, I agree with you. Conference championship games are they are just money grabs for everybody to know. Yeah, money grabs. This is true. People still leak out of spring practices for players. It's true. They do, Michael. Like I said, it's not a perfect solution. I just think it's the best solution of all the different things they could do that I've heard of right now. I'm not saying they're changing it. I'm just saying if I had a chance, that's what I would vote for. Clint, again, even if you just signed a coordinator this offseason, their contract could get bought out the same week. It's true. That's happened. Head coaches, for heaven's sake, have gone announced for one school and moved to another one within the same season. I think that's happened. I know it has happened with coordinators. Look, the whole thing's a mess. I don't know if anything's enforceable. Nothing is enforceable until we get to player representation, and then you can start putting in rules. Including the CSC, the College Sports Commission, is a complete joke right now. Complete joke. They're not even trying to hide that the NIL money is coming from an advertiser. They're just saying they're getting the money. We'll work out the details later. College Sports Commission, Texas Tech is daring them to do something. And what will happen, the reason they haven't already, is Texas Tech already has lawyers on retainer ready to defend what they've been doing. It's a no-win for the CSC. NIL Go, I told you all this 2 years ago, is a joke. All of it's a joke until the players have representation. That's off my bomber rant. Last chance to call in, guys. 801-899-6203. I'd love to hear from you. Kelani says the conference championship game is where the Big 12 shows there's more interest in its game versus the ACC, and people want to get rid of it. Yikes. I don't think that's what ended up happening there, Kalani. I think you would have had, if BYU and Utah had a play-in game for that second spot for the Big 12, that would have been a better game for the Big 12 than either Utah or BYU playing Texas Tech again. So why have them play again? Have a play-in game. BYU, Utah, Holy War II in one season would be insane. Especially this last year, it would have been absolutely crazy. So that's kind of where my mind is at with it. BYU football. That would be Shonsky. The moment was way too big for Morton. Yeah, Baron Morton did not play well. Texas Tech quarterback it's too bad. It's too bad because Texas Tech defense was elite. Also, LSU spent more than Texas Tech in the portal last year. It's not. Of course, you're right, Shonsky. Of course, you're right. The reason everybody uses Texas Tech as the sort of name to point to is because everybody else has been assumed to be paying players for decades. So asking the CSC to come in and put the hammer down on Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State or Michigan, nah, that's not going to happen. And that's why Texas Tech, which is new money, right? BYU's new money, they stand out and they say, hey, look, where's your NIL deals to, coordinate with this money? I'm telling you, though, if that was to happen, lawsuits would come in from the rafters. From the rafters. And you can't have no lawsuits, no antitrust exemption for college football. None. No antitrust exemption for college football. Instead, you go to player representation and then you go to contracts and deals. You give the NCAA opportunity to come in and put the clamps down again on freedom of movement for the players and transfer portal and some of these other things that the players has been given they've taken the last several years. College football will again to revert. Right now, there are 20 teams every year that can play for 16 teams this year certainly could have played for a national championship and competed well. Maybe it's not that many every year, but I think it's going to be. You give that antitrust exemption back and limit it to all the old guard again, college football will wither and die. Those days are gone, guys. In my opinion, those days are gone. Anyway, let's see here. Kalani says BYU versus Utah didn't get his ratings. Its first time around, less than 2 million. They were up against some big games that weekend, Kalani. But you want to replace the Big 12 championship game that was huge ratings with BYU Utah. I think that number is extremely higher if it's a play-in game. It's what's the stakes? This is the problem with the Holy War being in October and early November, Kalani. You've hit the nail on the head. The reason those numbers are depressed is because what are the stakes for that game in the middle of the season? You don't know how good they're going to be at the end of the season, but BYU and Utah get to the end of the season with only one loss apiece. And that loss was to Texas Tech. I think that number is extremely high for a play-in game. I mean, you might be right. I can't prove it. There's no way to empirically prove this. That's my opinion. A one-off, I think that's rough because they need a second team in. The only way the Big 12 is going to turn this story around is to get more teams to qualify to get in and get more teams playing in the CFP at the end of the year. And they show up and win games. That's it. Nothing else is going to change the storyline around the Big 12 or the ACC. Let's see here. Husker Magic, it's been a minute, man. By the way, congrats on your basketball team. 15-0. Ranked number 10 right behind BYU. They beat BYU by 1 or 2 points in the preseason. Anyway, conference championship games are here to stay with a 5-11 CFP format, soon to be adopted. Is that right, Husker Magic? How does that work? How does 5-11 keep the championship games viable? I think they're two different things. You could run them together, but it doesn't have to be that way. Conference championship games and playing games could be available. I guess what you're saying is if it's 5 auto bids only, and there's no guarantee for that playing game, then yes, those games are going to be there. 5-11 is broken. I don't care what Brett Yormark says. It's broken. It's broken. I would prefer 1-16 than 5-11. Just go 1-16, no auto bids. I think it's better than 5-11. BYU. The Big 12 would have got 3 teams in, more than likely, in this year if we were 1-16. I still think the 5-11 is a broken format, just like 5-7 is. Nothing has changed my mind on that at all. No other new comments. I've tracked everything. I think I've got all my super chats done. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Nobody else has called in, so I'm going to do a last call. If you want your comments to be read on the air or you want to talk to me, now's the time to do it. Make it a super chat to keep me around, or call in 801-899-6203. Other than that, I'm going to let me say this right now. Bulls fan, the Holy War or the championship game, whatever, for the Big 12, the Holy War should be the day before Thanksgiving. And it solves all those problems that you're mentioning here about going head to head with the game or the Iron Bowl. BYU, Utah, day before Thanksgiving. Big 12 keeps throwing money away by not doing that. And giving opportunities away to impress people. I think BYU is in the playoff if BYU and Utah had played a game the end of the season. I do. That it's that one last chance to prove that you're that good. BYU 10-1, Utah 10-1. That game had stakes if it would have been the day before Thanksgiving. Anybody analyzing that now, anybody that doesn't think that that's real now, I don't know what to tell you. You can that's something you can easily prove by putting it on the game. There isn't any competition the day before Thanksgiving. That number would get mad. That game would get mad ratings. And Big 12 just keeps pissing it away. Just pissing it away. All right, I am going to call it good. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thank you so much for the super chats. Really quickly, let me shout out all the people that did super chats and did member comments tonight. Evil Badger, Moen After Dark gave new memberships. Jimmy Austin gave a new membership. Earl Carr, OG, what's up, brother? BYU Strong. Earl Carr did a new member comment. Evil Badger, $5 super chat. Earl Carr, $5 super chat. And then Earl Carr again, 5 memberships. Thank you, everybody. We will be here tomorrow night, Moen, Ute, and I, for Big Freaking Friday on Wednesday. And the reason we're meeting tomorrow is because the next playoff games are Thursday, and I can't wait to be here to cover those. I think I might do one of those shows live. I haven't decided, but I might do a watch along with one of those games on Thursday night. So we'll have to see. Other than that, I appreciate it, everybody. I want you to have a good and safe weekend. I'm going to turn off the phones now. Stay out of trouble, and I will talk to you soon, okay? I appreciate you. Thank you to all the new members. Thank you to everybody who gave super chats. You guys are awesome, and I want you to stay out of trouble, okay? If you do get a note or you have a thought of a friend that you have not seen, family, friend, whatever, you haven't seen or talked to in a while, send them a text. Certainly give them a phone call and check on them, see how they're doing. It's really important that you do that. Check in with your family and friends. Because I guarantee you, if they receive that call, you're going to make that person's day, especially if they haven't heard from you in a long time. So I appreciate all of you in that way, and I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Please stay out of trouble. Make sure you are following us on Twitter, Bomber _ Big 12 Mafia, and at the College Football Mafia. That's all our Twitter handles. And then if you're watching on X, open up YouTube and go to College Football Mafia and hit that subscribe button. Help us keep this thing going. I've got 40 more new people watching tonight. You guys should all give me a thumbs up, leave a comment or question, and then get over and hit that subscribe button. Other than that, I'm going to take off. You guys are awesome as always, and I will see you all tomorrow night. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great and safe evening. We'll talk to you later. Peace. Go Hawks. Go Cougs.